Devotion on Mark chapter 9, verses 38 to 50. Jesus does not pull any punches. He's got some very strong words here in Mark chapter 9. In fact, according to this text, each weekend when I see it coming to church, I ought to see a group of people coming in with hands cut off and on crutches with no foot and half blind. And you ought to see the same with me. After all, Jesus says, if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. Oh, we are a sinful people. And our Lord, He is trying to illustrate for us the very seriousness of that sin. He takes sin very, very seriously. He hates sin. And in a very strong way, He exhorts us to get rid of that sin in our lives. But the wonderful good news is that we have a God who doesn't simply demand that things get cut off. Rather, we have a God who heals. Though He hates the sin, He loves the sinner. And so He washes us clean in the healing waters of holy baptism. He feeds us through the nourishing body and blood of the supper and the sacrament. And He calls us His own, His forgiven and redeemed children. And in those words, we are healed. So the sin in our lives does not require us to cut things off or to pluck things out. No, that sin in our lives is washed away and forgiven. And it's not our hands or our feet that get cut off because of sin. It is Christ's hands and Christ's feet that were pierced for our transgressions. And it is by His shed blood and His sacrificial death that we are made whole and we are made clean.